What's going on, guys, and welcome to the video. Now, as we've gotten deeper and deeper into marathon prep, recovery has become a more substantial aspect of my training routine to mitigate soreness and also to increase consistent performance. Right now, I'm about 40 hours post 18-mile long run. That's officially the longest that I've run in my life personally, and as you can imagine, because of that, my body's dealing with a bit of additional soreness. And given that, I thought today would be the perfect day to run through my marathon prep recovery routine and what I'll do today specifically to ensure that I recover from those 18 miles, because let me tell you something, we got a lot of mileage coming up. Let's dive into this bad boy right here. Oof, that looks good. Get a little syrup action going on. 8.5 out of 10. Now, before I dive into point number one, which is to eat, I also want to quickly mention getting enough sleep and just getting off your feet the day after a long run. So the day after a long run, I won't set an alarm. I'll just let my body sleep in, because that first night of rest is super helpful for repair. And then the next day after, so like a Sunday, I'll just spend a lot of time off of my feet. I'll do a lot more work on the couch and just try to give my legs some time to rest. Now, when it comes to eating, I used to be very controlling of what I ate on off days from running. I wouldn't eat as many carbs. I would never eat a meal like a pancake in the morning, because my thinking was, well, if I'm not training hard, then why would I eat that if I don't need it? But the thing is, you do, because all of the repair after a long run, or any intensive bout of exercise for that matter, comes in those periods where we allow ourselves to rest afterward. None of that is going to happen while you are actively expending all of that energy. By eating meals like this, I'm learning how to give my body what it needs, not just from the narrow mindset of what is my energy expenditure like today, but I'm starting to ask myself the question, what are the practices that I can maintain and continue today that are going to launch me into a more successful training week tomorrow? The last thing that I'll mention on nutrition, it's a smaller thing, and unfortunately it's not obvious in this meal right here, but I try extra hard to eat whole foods, nutrient-dense foods like veggies that come with a lot of micronutrients densely packed into them. And the reason for that is that I consume a lot of energy gels on a long run day, and those can be really hard on the gut and the digestive system. So it makes me feel really good, especially to focus on micronutrient consumption the day or two after a long run, and that helps with reducing inflammation as well. It's all about trying to find the practices that'll help us feel our best as fast as possible. Well, that didn't go as I had hoped it would. Literally, I dry scoop every single day of my life. This is the first time that that's happened. All right. I'm like not done though, because half of it didn't go in my mouth, so. Now, the next thing that I do is prioritize some form of conscious movement. So the day after a long run, I'm prescribed any sort of cross training. A lot of the time, I just end up going on walks. The whole point of the cross training is just to pick some activity that'll get the blood flowing and that'll sort of flush out any soreness or weakness left over from the run in my legs. Also, just generally speaking, walking makes me feel so good, especially on a day like today when the weather's really nice. You can plug in a podcast, you can walk nice and slow, and it's just a form of conscious movement to help the body heal, right? Like, you're not trying to do anything that's going to be super exhausting, but it just is an all-around feel-good activity that also helps you recover. All right, pre-workout's kicking in. I'm gonna go in and crush my leg workout, and then afterward, I will see you for point number 4. So slight change of plans. I was initially gonna intro this point in the gym, but the gym was super packed and crowded. I just didn't feel comfortable filming in there. Once I finish up my walk and my workout of the day, I always try to foam roll. Ideally, I would be doing this every single day of the week, but more realistically, I'm doing it 5 times a week. I roll out every single area of my lower body, my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, my IT band, my hips. This is one of those things that you won't necessarily feel the effects of it and the benefits of it on a daily basis, but if I ever stop doing it, I just find that I'm not recovering as well and I have a lot more soreness in my legs. So this is something that is a non-negotiable when it comes to me running and performing well. Generally speaking, all I'm really doing is foam rolling, making sure that I'm getting off my feet, continuing with the cross training and the walking, making sure that I'm hydrated, focusing on my nutrition, and honestly, I think most of those are really like where 80% of the effort and outcome comes from. And luckily, I think doing that and being super disciplined in regards to that has helped me stay away from any major injuries. So gonna keep trying my hardest to make sure that I do everything that I can in that arsenal to make sure that I stay healthy. Now, the final tool in my recovery toolkit from a long run is an Epsom salt bath right there. I'll do these 1 to 3 times a week. It honestly really depends on how I'm feeling, but the 3 times that I would potentially do it during the week are the night before a long run, if my legs are super sore, the day after a long run, if my legs are super sore, and on a Wednesday, which is the day of my midweek mid-ish long run, so like it's usually 8 to 10 miles. Now there's a bunch of benefits to having Epsom salt baths. According to Google, the benefits of having an Epsom salt bath are that they reduce toxins in the body, reduce inflammation, and relieve stress, because Epsom salt, like one of the salts in here, is magnesium, and that is an element that is shown to reduce stress in the body. Running that many miles, it's gonna have a stress response on your body, and especially me as a person, I think probably more than the average person because of all the trauma I've experienced, my body definitely holds on to stress, and it can be really challenging for me to unwind, like legitimately, physically be challenging for me to unwind. So just jumping in this for 20 minutes, 1 to 3 times a week, really helps flush out those toxins, really helps get blood flowing in that area, and it just helps me relax, even though they make me pretty uncomfortable. I'm gonna jump in now, and we are gonna time lapse in 3, 2, 1. And just like that, it is now the next day. I'm feeling super fresh and recovered after that lovely, essentially spa day yesterday that I treated myself to, and ready for yet another 30+ mile week of training. Let me just share a couple more quick thoughts before you drop off. The body is capable of so much if you show up for it. For years, I didn't want to show up for my body. I just kept asking it to show up for me. I would go to the gym every day and train super hard, and I didn't care about recovery. I didn't care about healing the relationship that I had with my body. I was just obsessed with compulsive exercise that I used as an expression of my feelings, but I didn't know when to take a rest day. I didn't know when to take it easy. And the whole concept that has really come to light for me over the course of now what is entering an insane amount of mileage to be on my feet, an insane amount of activity in the gym, to be weight training and to doing all this other stuff, is that you need to train hard, but you need to recover harder. If you show up for your body will show up for you, and it will truly show you how amazing and capable you are as long as you know how to show up for it in return. With that being said, guys, I am going to wrap up the video here. If you liked the video, then please drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you in the next one.